Hello and welcome to episode 8 of Country Bumpkin Creates. My name is Lucy and I live in Devon in southwest England on the edge of Dartmoor, which is looking very white and snowy at the moment. I hope you've all survived the beast from the east. We had the beast from the east combined with Storm Emma on Thursday and Friday, so it was a bit scary at times. We've had quite a lot of snow. We've probably had, in certain places, the drifts are like 2-3 foot deep. I live on a holiday park, so around the park various places are still quite deep snow drifts. It is Saturday the 3rd of March, and the snow is clearing now. I managed to get out today and get to the shops and stuff, so I hope you've all been absolutely fine and stayed warm and stayed safe. It's been a bit cold. We got down to -9 I think one night, so it's been a bit chilly, but it's starting to warm up now. It's actually raining today, so it is starting to warm up and everything's thawing, and husband's running around like a headless chicken with all the... We've had quite a few water pipes burst and things like that. Oh, sorry, double chinage going on, but to sit like that. Yeah, so it's been a bit tedious the last few days, and we are currently fitting a new kitchen as well, which I'm not quite sure. I would imagine a lot of divorces happen when people are having kitchens fitted. We're doing it ourselves, so luckily Nigel's very, very hands-on with things like that, and I've been constructing cupboards and drawers and things like that, but it's been a bit tense, shall we say. Anyway, moving swiftly on. As I said, my name is Lucy. Thank you to any returning viewers. And welcome to any new viewers. It's lovely to see you, lovely to have you back. Thank you for taking the time to watch my many ramblings. I do go off at a tangent quite a bit, so you just have to bear with me if you are new. You can find me on Instagram as country_bumps, and on Ravelry I am CountryBumps. Yeah, I have joined, is it Vero or something it's called, but I'm not quite sure how it works, and it has been really slow, so I think they've just been overwhelmed with the amount of people. So I am on there as Country Bumpkin Creates, I think, or just Country Bumpkin, can't remember. Yeah, I think it is Country Bumpkin, so you can come over and follow me, but I haven't posted anything yet. I'm just going to wait and see how it all plays out before I start investing any time in it, I think. But I am most active on Instagram. I haven't got a huge amount of knitting to show, but there may be quite a lot of stash enhancement. I did go to Unravel Festival in Farnham, which was a couple of weeks ago, with my good friends Sophie, Imogen and Sarah, and Sophie's little ones. Hi girls! So there is a bit of stash enhancement from there, and it is quite a while since I last podcast. This is sounding like a bit of a confession now, isn't it? It is a little bit of a while since I last podcast, so there has been quite a bit of stash that's come in the post as well. So we will... That's going to be the main chunk of the podcast this week, I think. So moving swiftly on, I've only got 2 finished objects this week, or today, and the first one is the Resfiber, I think that's how you pronounce it, Resfiber socks by, oh it's blowing out a hell of a lot, by the Knitting Expat. This is the first one of her basic, she's got 2 sock collections out this year, and this was the first of the basic one. So it's just a simple knit and purl pattern, and I knit these using a Grundle Hot Socks, which is a, I've got the tag here because I'm using it in my next project, my main whip as well. So it's Grundle Hot Socks Pearl Mint Cashmere. So it is 75% wool, 20% nylon and 5% cashmere. So it's a lovely yarn actually. For a commercial yarn, it's really nice. So that's the finished pair of those. And I think the first collection, the simple collection for the Knitting Expert, I think these are the Wanderlust collection. So each collection is 6 months, but every other month, and she's doing 2 collections. One that's a simple, like beginners, which is what these are, and then the next pair that I've got to show you are from her cozy, I think it's the Cozy Sock collection, which is for those who've got a bit more experience, but like intermediate knitting rather than beginning. So that's those, and these are for my sister Sarah. So I did 60 stitch count. I do a 1-inch cuff, 2x2 rib, and I did a simple slip stitch. Oh, it's really blowing out. Slip stitch heel flap and gusset, and a normal on just a rounded toe. So yeah, so Sarah for Christmas is having a box of socks, so most of the socks that I knit this year will be for Sarah. So that's the first one. Saying that, my second FO, these are for me because the yarn is nice. So these are the Warm and Snug socks, again by Knitting Expat from us. Cozy Sock collection, and these are called the Warm and Snug, and they've got welts on the leg. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only did them to there because I wear boots quite a lot, and I didn't want the welts to be inside the boot because that would be uncomfortable. And I must admit, welts, they're not my friend. They're just a bit tedious because they take time, and I like to sort of just whiz round, but having to stop to do the welts was a bit tedious. So this yarn is from Down Sheepy Lane, and it is her Sweet Like Chocolate self-striping yarn, and I did a olive partridge heel flap gusset. I do like a heel flap, it fits really well. I've tried short row heels and things like that, but and again just a normal rounded toe, but I just find that there are 2, just to prove that there are 2. I've tried short row heels, I've tried afterthought heels, and I just can never get them right. So I do like a heel flap and gusset because it just fits well, and with that gusset I've got quite wide feet, so it just gives me a bit more room over the top of my foot. That's the word I'm looking for. It's going to be one of those days. I do apologise. It has been a while. So that is my 2 main FOs. The only 2 FOs I have, and I have literally only been obsessed with one whip at the moment. So my one and only work in progress that I'm going to talk about today, because it's the only one that I've really put anything into, is the Squared Poncho. Sorry, a cat is having a nose around my stash. Go away, nosy bugger. So this is the Squared Poncho. Oh god, no, they're fighting. Sorry about that. Squared Poncho by Beta Lezek, who is the owner of and dyer behind Hedgehog Fibres. So as soon as this came out, that's a bit of a better picture of it there. As soon as I saw this was coming out, I was like, I really need to knit that. I just fell in love with it as soon as it came out. It is a free pattern, available on Ravelry and on Beta's website, Hedgehog Fibres website. And I'm nearly done most of the squares. So here is the beast. So you hold two finger and weight yarns held doubled. So I'm literally on the last section now. So I've got two like this wide left to do, because this is the front now. So let me put it on. So this is going to start coming down. So this is the front now. So it's you have to split here, obviously in the middle, to get it on. So I've got two of these. So I've got this black section to do, this section, and then another full section, and then it will be massive amounts of I-cord around the edge. So on the back of this pattern you can see I'm writing down all the yarns that I'm using and how much of each one that I'm using. These smaller squares use about 40 grams, or with my gauge I'm using about 40 grams. So they're ideal for mini. If you've got minis that you want to use, they're ideal for that. And then these bigger rectangles, I'm using about about 60 grams of yarn for these per square, obviously. So I've been keeping track, and currently at the moment I have knit 2,418 meters into this beast. So I'm going to try and a bit of rustling, sorry, because I've got everything. This is my basket that I've got all my odds. So I'm using a lot of it. I've used scraps for, but I have caked up some full skeins. And it lives in my. I'm sure if you're regular on Instagram, you've probably seen loads of people. This is the cube bag from Thimble and Thread Make, and I've got some pins on it because she's got this genius bit in the lining. So it's got poppers in the lining, and you can put your pin badges on, and the backs are then secured inside the lining, so it doesn't snag on your yarn and your whip while it's in the bag. And it's got a drawstring closure, and it's made of like a really sturdy canvas. So that's what this lives in, and then I've got all my scraps in. So this first square was I held two different yarns together. This is a really messy cake of Dudley Demented. So it's got bits of grey and white, pink. It's a lot more muted than it's coming out on the screen. And I held that with a Madeline Tosh sock in the rose colourway. So that was those two. I'm really not organised, I'm really sorry. This was a green and a yellow, this one. This section was, I don't think I've got it here. No. So this was, again, these are both Nora George, and it was like a pale yellow called Veritaserum, and the green was her garden gnome, and they were both Mrs. Weasley's Knit Club colourways. And then this one is a hedgehog fibre, sour apple, which was a club colourway. Really not useful when people use club colourways, is it? Mixed with another Nora George Weasley Club. Oh, it's really blowing out. Felix Felicis. So those two mould together created that. So it's been really interesting. I've never really mould stuff before, but it's been really interesting to see how the different colours. So I have. Sorry, my hair is like really wild today. There have been some that I've started knitting together, and I'm like, oh no, they really don't go. So I've had to unpick them. Then we move on to this big rectangle, and that was Nora George. I've used a lot of Nora George in this because I've got a lot of Nora George scraps. So these were, so that one was Winter Wonderland and Ollivander's One Shop, which Ollivander's One Shop was a Weasley Club, but the Winter Wonderland is one of her regular colourways. So that was those two. Oh, I'll put these away later. Right, this one was a Hedgehog Fibres this here, which is Hedgehog Fibres Snapdragon, which again came as a club colourway, and a pink, just a pink tonal that I had that I haven't even got the tag for, so I have no idea who it was dyed by. This one here is Hattie by Hand Dyed by Kate, which was this. And a Malabrigo sock yarn called Primavera. So those two, I'm really cack-handed at the moment. I don't know what, I don't know, there's no easy way to show you really. So those two created that square. So you can see how adding that because that's quite dark. It's a lot darker than that in normal light. So you can see how just marling it with that light really changed the tone of that yarn completely. I'm sat on my foot's gone to sleep. Oh, sorry. Right, then this was just one colour that I held double. And this is Quality Street by Golding Yarns. So that's her tag, Golding Yarns. And this was a Christmas colourway from 2016. And it is like Quality Street. It's the pink of the Quality Street, pinky purple of the Quality Street tin, and then splashes of all the colours of the foil that the sweets are wrapped in. So that's pretty cool. This one was one colour that I held double, and this was something I picked up at Unravel from West Green Loft Yarns, and it's her Elizabeth Bennet colourway, and it's really pretty. So that was that one. this one here was the Felix Felicis again. So that one with a tonal yellow that Amy from Stranded Dye Works created for me a little while ago for when I knit the on the Spice Market shawl, and I had a 5 gradient set that went from like a sunshine yellow to red, and I wanted like a pale lemon, so Amy dyed that up for me. So that was that. That's what that is. That's Felix Felicis and a yellow. And then this one again is one yarn held doubled, and it's a German yarn. I can't find. There it is. You'd thought I'm really not organised to show this. So podcasting this morning was a bit of a on a whim, because it was just I had to be up early to go to the doctor's or something. And so this is Farbenpracht. I think that's right. I haven't done German since I was at school. And it's 100% merino, and it's in the graffiti colourway. It is a bit dark. This light is like more of like an olive green in real life. So, but the speckles are just amazing. So that was that one. Got it. And then this last square, which is coming out really pale, is a really old Nora George yarn in the hula colourway. And this is one of those yarns that when it was in the skein, I was like, not sure if that's me or not. But now I've seen it knit up, I'm like, oh yeah, I really like that. So it just goes to show you can't judge a skein, can't judge a yarn by its skein, because sometimes when they're balled up and when they're knit, they're completely different to what you imagine. So this is hula, and it's quite a bit more orange than it's showing on screen at the moment. So that's as far as I've got with the squared at the moment. I was hoping to get it finished this weekend, but yesterday most of yesterday went to kitchen building, so I lost quite a lot of time, like normal knitting time. So the yarn I'm using to join, so this black yarn is again the Grundle Hot Socks, in just the black. It's colourway number 10, which is black, because you need 800 meters of joining yarn, and although I love my indie dyers for just a tonal black yarn, I decided to go down the commercial route for that, because budgets. And I got that from I get my hot socks from Suffolk Socks, who has an online shop, and it's like £8 for 100 grams. So it's really, and for a commercial, sorry, I just broken a nail. So for a commercial yarn, it really is, it's lovely, and it's very affordable. So that was the Squared Poncho, and I love it. I really love it. I want to get it finished so I can start wearing it. And like I say, as soon as it came out, it was just like, I want it, I need it. I'm knitting it on a 4mm needle. It does call for 3.75 in the pattern, but I do knit tight, so I always go up at least a quarter, if not half a needle size. But I've got loads of like needles and cords hanging off, because you have to keep like live stitches when you go between the sections. You keep the stitches live, so you do end up using, so an interchangeable needle set is an absolute godsend when knitting something like this. I'm just going to pause a minute and have a sort out and get stash enhancement sorted, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I've had a little rearrange. So when I said there's a bit of stash enhancement, there's a lot of stash enhancement. This is my bag of Unravel yarn, and this is a box showing everything that came in the mail. Oh, I don't care. Got any money? Can't take it with you, can you? So Unravel, it was their 10th anniversary this year, and it takes place in the Maltings in Farnham, which I think is Surrey. I'm really bad at geography, UK geography. Oh, sorry, I keep knocking the table. And so it's quite a distance for me. It's a good 3.5 hour drive, but I decided to take the train, which in actual fact turned out to be like 4 and a bit hours on the train, because I have to go from Exeter, and then I had to change at Woking to get the train to Farnham, because there was no direct train from this end of the world to that end of the world. So it was a long day. I was up at 5:30. I left home at 6:15 in the morning, and I got home at 11 in the evening. So it was a long old day, but it was totally worth it. Spent the day with my lovely friends, saw lots of lovely people, met up with a few friends who hadn't seen for a little while. Hello. Amy from Stranded Dye Works was there vending, so it was lovely to catch up with her. The West Green Loft Yarns ladies, Easy Knits. Yeah, there were lots of vendors there actually. The only thing I found a bit disconcerting, shall we say, is it's not one big venue, or it's all in one place, one building, but there are lots of, it was all spread over like there was one big hall, but then there's like lots of other little rooms as well. I suppose as it's grown, they've had to, so they've had to sort of pay people in different areas of the building. So I got a bit like, I'm not quite sure if we've been there, have we been here. But they do produce a show guide, which does show you what rooms, who's in what room, etc. So yeah, it was lovely. It was a really nice day out. So shall we start with showing what we got? So talking of the lovely Amy, she's brought out some new. So this is Amy from Stranded Dye Works, and she also has the Stranded podcast, and she's Amy Florence on Instagram. She's brought out some new colourways, and this was one that I really liked, and this is her colourways Online Alter Ego, and this is on her Oasis base, which is a 75/25 superwash merino, 425 meters per 100 grams, and it's like this, it goes from like a pale purple to a dark purple and then it's got these like rainbowy speckles, and there's black speckles in there, and yeah, it's just like, that's a fell in love with that. So that was like, right, that needs to come home with me. And then this is from River Knits. And they only dye on fingering weight BFL 4-ply. And this is the March Riot colourway. And you know, one of those colours that you're like, those yarns that you're like really drawn to. I'm like really conscious that all you can see is like my head. I seem really low down today and I don't know why. Sorry. Interjection there, tangent. And I kept, I saw this and I walked away and I came back and I walked away again, but it was just like shouting my name. It's like, hello, come and take me home. Lucy, come and take me home. So I did. So, because I couldn't resist it. I just kept, it was just one of those that like really caught my eye. I hadn't seen it before on their Instagram or anything. But it's just beautiful. Just, it does remind me of that bluebelly, crocus, everything starting to just sort of grow during the springtime. So that's the March Riot colourway. And it did just remind, it was like, ooh. So along with the Elizabeth Bennet by West Green Loft Yarns, I got, so that's, it's really pale, sorry, West Green Loft Yarns. And this is her Anya Lulu colourway. So I picked up a skein of that as well. It's got like a really bright, it's just a really like beautiful speckled, well it's not really speckled, it's more, it has got speckles in it, but it's more sort of splashes of colour with like speckles on it as well. So it's like a, it's just pretty. So it's like, right, that's got to come home. Yeah, that's it, except the next. So this is from Easy Knits, and it is their Gobstopper, which is their self-striping, and the colourway is Hulk Smash. So it's a self-striping yarn. So again, it's a 75/25 merino nylon, 425 meters per 100 grams, and I just think it's really cool. I think it's going to be the most amazing pair of socks. So it's that purple and green and pink of the Incredible Hulk. Top of my list to purchase at Unravel was tonal yarns. I have a huge stash of single skeins of speckled and variegated yarns, and then I see stuff that's like 2 colour, and it's just like, I can't knit that, I can't start that, you know. So when something like really catches your eye and you're like, right, I really want to start that, and then you go to your stash and you're like, well, I've got this but nothing to go with it, or yeah. So that was like top of my, in my defence, this may look a lot, but they are only 50 gram skeins, hence I've bought 2 of everything. So this was my tonal stash, and this is from Rachel Coopy, who is Coop Knits, and it's her Socks Yeah base. So it's 75/25 merino nylon, 212 meters per 50 grams. And this is the Benny Tweet. You gonna focus or no? Hello? Oh, no. So it's Benitoite. I think that's how you pronounce it. Benny Tweet is probably a French, but it's like a it's coming out a bit more navy on there, but it's not. It's like a dark navy. So that was that one. And then I got this one, which is like a camel colour. And this is Obsidian. So it's like a camely brown. But they have got, it won't pick it up on the camera. But they have got like a real, like, it might pick it up. Like heathered. No, it's not. Not plain. They've got like a real heathered undertone to them. So this one is like a mustard yellow, and this is Sphene, S-P-H-E-N-E. This is, it's a bit darker in real life, and this is the Ruby. And then I got this one. It's like a minty, sagey green. And this is Chryso, C-H-R-Y-S-O. And oh, you can see the heathering. Probably a bit better on that one. But they're just, and these I paid £6.50 each for these. So £13 for 100 grams of tonal yarn is, in my book, a bargain. So that was my Unravel haul. So I don't think I did too badly, really. I really didn't want to buy loads and loads of single skeins of speckled yarn, and I did buy the ones I did buy. I had every intention of putting in my squared, so some of them may still go in there, but I haven't. Like I say, the Elizabeth Bennet is in there already, but I think this is going to be the final large square, because I bought this specifically to go in my squared. So I would just hold that double. I won't marl it with anything, because I think it might lose something if I marl it. So that was the Unravel haul. Now, what's come in the post? I bought this. This is from the Knitting Swede. Again, going back to that, I haven't got anything tonal. This is in her Spartan DK. And it's 100% superwash BFL. And the colourway is Carbon. And she has an Etsy shop. She also has her own website, theknittingswede.co.uk. And I came across the Knitting Swede when we went to Wonderwall last year. And it's like a charcoaly grey colour. Because I have a skein of bright... It's the Pinata colourway by Amy of Stranded Dye Works in DK. And I want to do a 2-colour hat. So I needed something that would show off the Pinata really well. So I think this, I'm not sure what hat I'm going to do yet. I did have a quick look on Ravelry last night. I do quite like the dye pyramid hat, but I also like the worm. But the only thing with the worm is there's a lot of purling in the worm, and I'm not sure I'm made for that. Okay, next thing is a skein of... So sorry, tangent again. If you know of any nice 2-colour colour work hats that I can use DK weight yarn for, please mention it in the comments below. Thank you. So next is a skein of self-striping yarn from Giddy Yarns. This was her Valentine mystery self-striping, and it's called Bouquet of Roses, and again it's a 75/25 merino, so that will be made into socks at some point. If you are in Mrs. Weasley's Knit Club by Nora George and haven't received February's yet, then skip ahead. Sorry, plastic. So this is this month's instalment. This is the February instalment, and it is The Quibbler, which is the newspaper that Luna and Xenophilius Lovegood put together. So it's obviously got a lot of, oh, look at them. Look at those speckles there. And those speckles there. So that's what I love about yarn, is like, oh, look. It's got lovely surprises inside. So it's like a pale, really pale yellow. And then it's got all these speckles, and it comes with a tonal mini black for the newsprint. So that's Nora George yarns. I do love her. I am a Harry Potter geek, so I do love her Harry Potter yarns. This was a set of minis, again from Giddy Yarns. So she's giddyyarns.com. And I was scrolling through Instagram, and the hub was looking over my shoulder, and I was scrolling through Instagram, and he was like, oh, they're pretty. So that meant, why don't you buy yourself those mini skeins? So, or it did to me anyway. So they're just really pretty. They were Valentine's. It's the Valentine's Day mini skein set. Then right, I've got one more. This was January's Nora George, Mrs. Weasley's Knit Club, and it was Fudges Bowler Hat. So Fudge is the Minister for Magic in the first 6 films, and he wears a green bowler hat. So it's like a pale grey, and again it's got these neon speckles of green, and then just speckles of other stuff, and then like, that's really blowing out, but it's like a bright neon green, like highlighter green mini to go with it. Knit Picks was having a sale in January, and I wanted a sweater's quantity of worsted weight yarn to make the, what was I going to make with it? Harvest cardigan by Tin Can Knits. So they had this in the sale, and it is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes tweed, and it's 80% Peruvian Highland wool and 20% Donegal tweed, and it is 110 yards for 50 grams. Worsted weight. I don't know why that's not focusing very well. So I worked it out, and I think I needed 16, so I ordered 16. I think I needed 15, but I ordered 16, and it's in the Claret Heather colourway. Oh god. Sorry, there's a cat on its way. Right, boobs. Sorry. Yeah, you're walking over everything. What are you doing? Come up here. So I got 16 of those. It's a lighter purple than it's showing up on camera. This is Billy. Boo Bear. Boobs. Come here. Say hello. This is Billy Boo Bear. No, don't go on the table because you'll knock the camera. That's it, thank you. So, he's just been out and he's wet, so he's now coming to dry himself on me. That's what that's about. Isn't it? So, like I say, these are going to be the Harvest cardigan by Tin Can Knits. And I think I paid less than £2 a ball. So it was like such a bargain that you couldn't resist. And thank you for that. And I've not heard bad things about this yarn. I've seen it knitted on other people's podcasts, etc. So, but for an everyday chuck on and wear cardigan, it's going to be fine. You're really not helping. Thank you. Sorry. The joys of being a cat owner. The rest of the yarn I have is all from a homespun house. This was the January Harry Potter Yarn Club. And it's the Night Bus colourway. And this is on her merino cashmere fingering weight. So it's 70% merino, 70% merino, 20% cashmere, 10% nylon, and it's 370 meters per 100 grams. And it's so squishy. It's really soft. So this is the Night Bus. And then February's arrived a week or two ago, I think, so everyone should have this now. You never know what base. It's always a fingering weight, but sometimes, but she does vary the bases. So this is on her plump merino fingering, which is 80% merino, 20% nylon. Again, 370 meters per 100 grams. And this is the February Harry Potter Yarn Club, and it's Ginny's Visit to Zonko's, which is the joke shop. So it's really pretty with the speckles and stuff. I'm nearly done, honest. So she put out a pre-order as well for some of her Harry Potter specials. So this was the Deathly Hallows set. So you got 100 grams. This again is her plump merino. 100 grams of the Cloak of Invisibility, which is really pretty. And then two 20-gram minis. So this is the Resurrection Stone. And this is the Elder Wand. Which is like a really pretty brown tonal yarn. And then the other one she did was the 7 Horcruxes. So this is the Diadem of Rowena Ravenclaw, which is pretty blue. This is the Locket of Salazar Slytherin. This is Tom Riddle's Diary. This one is Nagini the Serpent, which is really pretty, like jade green and black. this is the ring of Marvolo Gaunt. So that's the ring that Dumbledore puts on and it makes his hand go all black. They don't really go into the ring that much in the films, but it is explained in real detail in the books. This is the cup of Helga Hufflepuff, which is what they find in Bellatrix Lestrange's vault. And this one is The Boy Who Lived, which was Harry. So there we go. That is it for Confessions of a Yarn Buyer. I did say it was quite a lot to take me to. Oh, I don't know what that was. Something falling off. I think it's all the snow and ice is falling off the roof, so I think that's what it is. It's as it's warming up, everything's moving. So future knitting. Well, my aim is to get Squared finished, hopefully by the end of the weekend. But once you finish knitting all the squares, you have to do I-cord all the way around it. So that may take like 2 or 3 days probably, because there's a lot of stitches. So probably by the middle of next week it will be finished. So next time I record, I will probably be wearing it. I seem to be, I don't know what's going on with this chair today, but I seem to be like really low down. Then my aim is to get a fingering weight sweater on the needles, because I'm really hankering after knitting another fingering weight sweater. My Kaylee, which is an Aran weight, I've really fallen, it's gone into timeout. I got the body finished and I started one sleeve and I've got like this much of one sleeve done, and it's just, I'm just not enjoying it, so that's been put into timeout. So hopefully next time I see you, I want to get another shawl on the needles, or I've started one, but I've only got like that much done, and it's the Vertices Unite by Stephen West. So I want to crack on and get more of that done, and there will hopefully be another pair of socks finished. I haven't started any more socks. I haven't got any socks on the needles at the moment, which is unlike me. So I might... The new Knitting Expat one came out on Thursday, so I'll start that for Sarah, and then I'll probably put a pair of vanilla socks on the needles as well for me, just as like a handbag project for when I'm out and about, and I just need a pair of plain socks to knit on. Yeah, and the sweater, I've already swatched for the sweater, so this is my swatch. So because I knit tight, I always do 2 different needle sizes. So I did the cord 4 needle size on the bottom, and then the next size up at the top, and that's the, I've got gauge with the next size up. So this is the Shiner colourway by Amy Florence, and I did swatch in the round. It's the first time I've ever swatched in the round rather than just done a flat swatch, and it has been washed and blocked, so I know it is the proper gauge. So, and that's going to be the Sides and Stripes colourway sweater by Vera Valimaki. Oh, the new Interpretations collection is out that she does with Vera and Joji Locatelli do, and I have ordered it, so it is on its way. So excuse me. So I will talk about that probably in the next episode. But there are like, out of the 12 patterns, there's probably 8 that I want to knit. So, but I do enjoy knitting a fingering weight sweater rather than an Aran weight, which is really weird. So I will have that on the needles by the next time I see you. That's it, really. There's nothing that I can think of that's like really got to knit that. Really got to knit that. So I'm just rambling now. So I will let you go. I hope that the snow disappears pretty soon wherever you are if you've had it, and that life on transport gets back to normal. So it has been a bit of a nightmare. Stay safe, stay warm, happy knitting, happy crochet, happy yarny, whatever you're doing. Take care. Bye bye. Bye.